You basically beat across the board to expectations fourth quarter and for the year. So from the inside, how'd you do it?
Well, I think it was everybody coming together. It really represented the great work and the teamwork at General Motors with all of our employees, our suppliers, our dealers. We all came together to make sure we could keep our employees safe, but then also protect our customers and protect the business. So I couldn't be more proud of everything the team accomplished last year.
As it turned out, your biggest problem was manufacturing enough, particularly those trucks and those SUVs, because the demand came back. Were you surprised how fast the demand came back?
Well, you know, we have a very strong full-size truck and our full-size SUVs that we launched on time last year, even with the pandemic. And I think it speaks to how popular the truck is. We have very different models that reach different segments, and so we've been able to grow share, and we're very proud of our truck leadership.
So, Mary, as you know so well, investors immediately say, what have you done for me lately? So let's look forward now to 2021, what you're expecting. You're projecting a strong year as well, even though you do have some headwinds from things like shortage of chips.
Yeah, we think we're going to have a very positive year in 2021, not only from a financial perspective, but also the continued acceleration of our EV and our AV business. We're really excited that very shortly we're going to be launching the Chevrolet Bolt EUV, which is a great vehicle, and that's days away. And then, you know, later this year, we'll be serving the market with the GMC Hummer EV, and then the Cadillac Lyriq comes shortly after that, as well as tremendous progress being made from an autonomous perspective as well. So we're really excited about the year, the growth opportunities that we have in front of us. And so it's a year of execution. And, you know, the issues with chips, this is a short-term issue, and we'll work through it.
Well, is General Motors basically in the same boat as everyone else, or are there things that you can do to get something of an advantage over other automakers?
Well, I think in general, this is an industry issue. Of course, we're working every single day with a cross-functional team to look for opportunities of how do we minimize the impact. So we'll continue to do that. You know, we did provide the guidance with a fairly wide range, and we'll work it every day and provide updates as we go forward.
Mary, as you said, you've got a lot of EV models coming out, including, as you say, the Bolt EUV and the Bolt EV new model coming out. You're investing $27 billion. This is part of a multi-year plan here. As a practical matter, what are the difficulties in that plan? And particularly, I want to talk about supply chains, things like battery cells, some of the lithium issues. Do you anticipate possible problems with supply chains into your battery operation?
Well, I think, you know, we're one of only two automakers that are doing cell manufacture in this country. We also are doing a tremendous amount of development on our own and our own GM R&D, as well as partnering with startups and, of course, our joint venture with LG Chem that is development as well as production. So, you know, we're working hard to make sure we have all the cells we need, and we've worked, you know, through the supply base to make sure we do, because we are, as we've talked about, we're accelerating our EVs with 30 by 2025, and, you know, really covering the whole market. So, you know, we continue to work it, but we think we've got a very strong plan.
I did some rough math here. It might be wrong, but basically, if you made all of your vehicles as electric vehicles, you would actually be using more than the total amount of lithium produced in the entire world by yourself. So does that mean we'll have less lithium used, or are we going to find new sources of it?
Well, I think, you know, we're working on securing the supply that we need, but we're also working on development that allows us to use less precious metals overall. So it's kind of a yes and. Both are things that we're working on.
At the same time, when we talk about things like the Bolt EV that's coming out, questions come up of profitability. We had Daimler, a competitor, come out and say by the end of the decade, they will be making as much or more out of electric vehicles as they do off of combustion engines. What's your profitability path for electric vehicles?
Well, we have set a goal for ourselves to have margins from our auto business be at 10%. That's not changing. We don't talk about individual product line profitability, but I can tell you with the progress that we're making because of the work we do with battery development, from our first generation Bolt EV to when we get to Ultium, we see about a 40% improvement, and we're already working on the next generation of our Ultium technology that should take it to a cumulative 60 or more. So, you know, I'm very confident confident that as we move forward and continue to make advancements, not only in the cost, but in the energy density, that's going to allow us to have margins similar that we have today as we get into the mid and later part of the decades.
How much help do you anticipate getting out of the government? We have a new president now, President Biden, who says he really wants to go to emission-free vehicles in the government fleet very quickly. He says he basically wants to replace them all over a period of time, create 1 million new jobs. Is that going to help a lot your move at General Motors over to electric vehicles?
Well, I absolutely think so. I think understanding EVs, understanding the importance, and really we have to work together. Business and governments need to work together to make sure we have a whole ecosystem that encourages EV adoption. We need to make sure there's the right charging, and that's why the work going on for infrastructure is so important. So we're having regular conversations with members of the administration as well as members of Congress to make sure they understand all the pieces that need to come together to support an all-EV future.
Finally, Mary, we all watched the Super Bowl. We watched Will Ferrell, and I guess my main question is, what have you got against Norway? There seems to be some grudge with Norway here.
Well, I think, when you look at Norway, they've had the highest EV adoption, and so I think it's driving awareness. We're really pleased with the ad. It resonated across so many groups, but, especially millennials and how they look at the future. And to drive that awareness, we think is really important. And I'm virtually 100% Finnish, so I have a natural affiliation with the Scandinavian countries, but it's more highlighting what Norway's done and making sure people understand that EVs are a very important part of our future.